Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alif bin Zabah. I'm from Group 1, Organic Chemistry. Now I will talk about paracetamol. Paracetamol is common painkiller used to treat aches and pain. It also can be used to reduce high temperature fever. It's available combined with other painkiller and anti-sickness medicine. It also an ingredient in a wide range of cold and flu remedies. Paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen, is a medicine used to treat fever and mild to moderate pain. At a standard dose, paracetamol only slightly decreases body temperature. It is inferior to ibuprofen in that respect, and the benefits of it used to fever are unclear. Paracetamol significantly reduces pain in acute migraine, but only slightly in episodic tension headache. Paracetamol can be taken with or without food. The usual dose for adults is 1 or 2 500 mg tablets up to 4 times in 24 hours. Always leave at least 4 hours between doses. Overdosing on paracetamol can cause serious side effects. Most people can take paracetamol safely, including pregnant and breastfeeding women. However, some people need to take extra care with paracetamol. Paracetamol takes up to an hour to work. The usual dose of paracetamol is 1 or 2 500 mg tablets, and do not take paracetamol with other medicines containing paracetamol. Paracetamol is safe to take in pregnancy while breastfeeding at recommended doses. Paracetamol is widely available as tablets and capsules. For people who find it difficult to swallow tablets or capsules, paracetamol is also available as syrup or as soluble tablets that dissolve in water to make a drink. Taking 1 or 2 extra tablets by accident is unlikely to be harmful as long as you do not take more than 8 tablets within 24 hours. Wait at least 24 hours before taking any more paracetamol at a time. If you take paracetamol regularly and miss a dose, take it as soon as you remember. However, skip the missed dose if it's nearly time for your next dose. Never take double doses of paracetamol.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amirul bin Anwar, number metric 8A200118. So now, I will explain the problem statement of paracetamol. People buy 200 ml boxes of paracetamol tablets a year, and it is the painkiller of choice for 80% of us. But research published last week found the drug associated with increased death, heart attack, stroke, and stomach and kidney problem. The issues of paracetamol has been going on from past time to the present. The new issue is about the drug took away my beautiful granddaughter. Desmond Phillips lost his granddaughter, Desire, 20, after she acknowledging took too much of the painkiller after an operation. The retired chef from Lendy, South Wales, now warns others about the dangers of paracetamol. She was transferred to hospital in Birmingham, more than 5 hours away, for the procedure. By the time she arrived, other organs were failing and were told it was unlikely she'd made it through the procedure. She passed away less than 12 hours after the OP and 10 days after having the operation on her breast. People need to be aware it can kill. If we are in the pain and do not need to take it, please check the label carefully and don't exceed the dosage. It could cost your life. Side effect of paracetamol first is allergic reaction. In very rare case, some people have had allergic reaction to paracetamol. Call your doctor immediately if you develop the reaction after taking paracetamol. The reaction is difficulty breathing or swelling of your face, lips, throat or tongue, hips, severe itching, peeling or blistering skin. The second is severe liver damage. Paracetamol poisoning can happen from taking too much paracetamol. Your liver processes acetaminophen and converts it into a different substance. If you take a large amount of acetaminophen, your liver produces more of that substance, and when there is too much of it, that substance can damage your liver. However, if you take acetaminophen at the recommended dosage, liver damage from the drug is not likely. Symptoms of liver damage include yellowing of your skin or the white of your eyes, pain in the upper right area of your abdomen, nausea or vomiting, loss of appetite, fatigue, sweating more than usual, pale skin and unusual bruising or bleeding. If you suspect you have taken too much acetaminophen or notice any of these symptoms, contact your poison control center or get medical help right away. If you know you have taken more than the recommended dosage of acetaminophen, go to the nearest emergency room. Even if you don't have any symptoms or liver damage, if someone you know who has taken acetaminophen becomes unresponsive or stops breathing, call 999 or the number for your local emergency service. Next is research problem. Scientists at Duke and US Medical School and National Heart Center Singapore (NHCS), in collaboration with colleges in Singapore and the UK, have shown that the human form of the signaling protein interleukin-11 (IL-11) has a damaging effect on human liver cells and helps livers damaged by paracetamol poisoning. They found high serum level of IL-11 in mice with paracetamol toxicity. Further investigation revealed that IL-11 was involved in activating pathway that lead to liver cell death. Surprisingly, they found that mouse livers responded differently according to whether they were given human or mouse IL-11. The human form had a protective effect against liver damage, while the mouse form caused liver death. How many paracetamol will kill you? 24 grams of paracetamol is generally accepted to be a fatal dose. The lowest amount of paracetamol to cause death was found by one study to be 10 grams. As for paracetamol of 500 mg per tablet, it is generally recommended to take no more than 8 tablets within 24 hours, and 24 to 30 tablets taken at one time can lead to overdose or even death. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Alif bin Muhammad Aris, and my matrix number is AA200194. Today I'm going to tell you about the history of paracetamol. Paracetamols have a long history back since the 18th of the 19th centuries. We call it paracetamol for international use in Europe and acetaminophen for international name used in USA. They were two official names of the same chemical compound, derived from its chemical name, N-acetyl para-aminophenol. The history of paracetamol began when two young doctors at University of Stanford, Arnold Chan and Paul Hepa, wants to eradicate worms, and by mistake they dispensed acetanilide to a patient instead of naphthalene. They noticed that the drug had a small impact on intestinal parasites. However, it significantly decreased on high temperature. They quickly published their discovery, and acetanilide was introduced to medical practice in 1886 under the name of antifebrin. Soon, it appeared that although the production of this drug was very cheap, acetanilide was not be used as an antipyretic medicament due to its high toxicity, the most alarming of which was methemoglobinemia. This result is a great deal of research on less toxic derivative of acetanilide. Phenacetin and N-acetyl-P-aminophenol appeared to be the most satisfying compound, which had been earlier synthesized by Harmon Northrop Morse in 1868. The first clinical trials with those two acetanilide derivatives were performed by a German pharmacologist Joseph von Mering. Based on the obtained results, a faulty conclusion was drawn that paracetamol was characterized by high toxicity like acetanilide. Therefore, phenacetin was the first derivative to be introduced into medical practice in 1887. Phenacetin was widely used in analgesic mixture until the time when it was associated with the development of analgesic nephropathy after a prolonged usage. Next, in Poland, phenacetin was used as a component of very popular and available everywhere. In fact, acetaminophen or paracetamol became very popular half a year later in 1848 when Bernard Brodie and Julius Axelrod demonstrated that paracetamol was the main active metabolite of acetanilide and phenacetin, responsible for their analgesic and antipyretic action, and the methemoglobinemia was induced by another metabolite, ferryl hydroxylamine. That discovery revolutionized the pharmaceutical market of analgesic drugs, and since then, paracetamol has started its staggering career. Paracetamol was introduced into pharmacological market in 1955 by McNeil Laboratories and prescribed analgesic and antipyretic drugs for children under its trade name Tylenol Children's Elixir. 1 year later, 500 mg tablets of paracetamol were available over the country in Great Britain under the trade name of Panadol, which were produced by Frederick Stearns & Co., the branch of Sterling's Drug Inc. in Poland. Paracetamol became available in 1961, and since then it has belonged to one of the most frequently sold analgesic medications. There are about 100 preparations in the trade offer, which contain paracetamol alone or in combination of other active substances, and from then until now, today, paracetamol has been in a long journey with its ability to heal and make human health better. That is the history of paracetamol. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Hilmiy bin Muhammad Faizal. My metric number is AA201007. Now I will present the advantage and disadvantage of paracetamol. Okay, let me go to the advantage of paracetamol. First, it is an antipyretic and analgesic. So, acetaminophen is by far considered a safe analgesic that is used widely to treat people with fever, pain, headache, post-surgical recovery, or even toothache. Also, acetaminophen is most reliable medicine as an analgesic for nociceptive pain and antipyretic in childhood and pregnancy, if taken under medical supervision. Okay, second, paracetamol is safer than NSAIDs. Okay, NSAID is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay, control or prescribed dose of acetaminophen, more 2000 mg per day, is more reliable than non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. Analgesic effect of acetaminophen 2000 mg per day and NSAID are the same, but according to the several kind of research, paracetamol acetaminophen is better than NSAIDs, so the dose is acceptable in most of the dental surgeries. Okay, third, helpful in moderate pain. Given that paracetamol is readily available drugs, it also the cheapest medicine to treat moderate to severe pain and fever in adults and kids. You should retake it overdose within 24 hours. If you really on paracetamol frequently, better is to consult your doctor and for possible alternate measure to reduce its side effect. Okay, 4. Paracetamol is better than aspirin. Okay, when compared with aspirin, paracetamol does not prevent blood from clotting and is safe for people having concern. Paracetamol also outweighs aspirin as it also does not cause any gastric irritation. Okay, next we continue to the disadvantage of paracetamol. Okay, first disadvantage is paracetamol can cause skin reaction. Okay, the US Food and Drug Administration in 2030 document a report that acetaminophen could lead to rare fatal skin reaction such as Stevens-Johnson syndrome (SJS) and toxic epidermal necrolysis. Since then, manufacturers have been instructed to label warning about its use and administration. Okay, second, paracetamol overdose is fatal. Overdose of paracetamol can lead to several health risks, which can also endanger your life. Some of the most common side effects of paracetamol overdose are nausea, stomach pain, loss of appetite, weakness, and kidney cancer. You can also experience other side effects when your urine turns dark and your eyes turn yellow. Okay, for the last of the disadvantage, long-term use may lead to stroke and high blood pressure. According to the research conducted by UK-based scientists, it was found that long-term use of paracetamol leads to high blood pressure and stroke. Out of 8 studies based on the use of this prescribed medicine, 4 cases show an increased risk of cardiovascular problem. That's all from me.
Alright, my name is Atamaran Milin and my metric number is AA200622. Today, I'm going to present to you guys the discussion of our research or our group assignment project. As all of us know that for our research, we are doing a research about paracetamol. So, me and Rusyaidi Jasmi is going to present the discussions about paracetamol. First of all, we're going to have a look about the properties of paracetamol. Here, I'm going to put a lot about chemical and physical properties of paracetamol, which is going to relate in the syllabus that we have learned in organic chemistry. The first properties that we're going to have a look about is that the color of paracetamol. Like any other analgesic and antipyretic drugs, where most of them are white, paracetamol is also white in color, and some of them are also being colored, like the Opamol 650, where that paracetamol is being colored in blue, but in most cases paracetamol is white in color. Now let's move on into form of paracetamol. At normal room temperature, paracetamol exists in a crystalline solid form. This means that the constituent of paracetamol, such as the atoms, molecules, or ion of the paracetamol itself, are arranged in a definite and a repeating pattern, a three-dimensional pattern, there is a highly order in microscopic structure when we zoom in using a microscope. This means that although in a crystalline solid, which we might hear that it is not as strong as solid, but paracetamol is having a very neat structure. That means that it is a very strong particle. Hence, those arrangement of the pattern give us one kind of characteristic that we could see using our naked eye on the paracetamol, where the paracetamol is kind of having curvy shapes on each end of the paracetamol. Although the paracetamol in oval shape or in a circle shape, we are still going to see them having a curvy shape or curvy edge. However, for your information, there are certain drug companies, the companies that are used to make medicines, they also have made paracetamol that is in liquid form. This is because certain person who cannot swallow or take paracetamol in a solid form, they could just take the paracetamol in a liquid form. This paracetamol is usually being given to children or toddler, where in their age they cannot take any solid form kind of medicines. Thus, this liquid paracetamol is much easier for them to swallow, and it even being stated that it could be absorbed much faster compared to the solid form paracetamol. Next is the odor of the paracetamol, or the smell of it. Since all of the compounds that are used to make paracetamol is odorless, hence paracetamol is also an odorless medicine. It is very common for us that whenever we took any medicines, usually in a pill form or solid form, they usually taste bitter. That is what is going as well with the taste of paracetamol. Like any other chemical drugs, they usually taste bitter. This is because most of the compound or chemical used is alkaline or basic in natural. Thus, the taste of paracetamol is also slightly bitter. Alright, now moving on to the boiling point of paracetamol. The boiling point for paracetamol is 500 degrees Celsius. This kind of boiling point is high compared to any other antipyretic or analgesic drugs, where we could see that paracetamol is actually having one of the highest boiling point compared to any other analgesic drugs. Next is that melting point of paracetamol. The melting point of paracetamol is between 169 degrees Celsius to 170.5 degrees Celsius. Once again, paracetamol indicate a slightly higher melting point compared to other normal medicine drugs. And next is that solubility. The solubility for paracetamol exists in two types or two categories. First, that in water. Paracetamol is very slightly soluble in cold water, but it has a greater solubility when it is in hot water. This is because paracetamol atoms absorb more energy from the heat produced by the hot water, hence it becomes more reactive when heat is supplied to it. Thus, paracetamol soluble slightly much faster in hot water compared to the cold water. The next category is its solubility in alcohol. Paracetamol is really soluble to most alcohol, where it is soluble in methanol, ethanol, dimethylformamide, and it is also slightly soluble in ethers. However, paracetamol is practically insoluble in certain alcohol like petroleum ether, pentane, and benzene. Alright, now we're heading to the second last properties for paracetamol. That properties is density for paracetamol. The common density for paracetamol is 1.3 gram per centimeter cubic. And the last property is that pH value of paracetamol. The common pH value for paracetamol is 5.5 to 6.5 pH. This indicates that paracetamol is slightly acidic and natural in characteristic or in nature. With that indicates the last properties for paracetamol. Now, I would like to proceed our presentations with Rusyaidi Jasmi with the next categories about discussion.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Rusyaidi Jasmi bin Muhammad Razi and my matrix number is AA200342. Now, I'll be continuing our group presentation in discussion part, which is formation of paracetamol. In this formation of paracetamol, we use synthesis of paracetamol to make paracetamol. So as we know, paracetamol is made by reacting 4-aminophenol with ethanoic anhydride, or more commonly we call as acetic anhydride. This reaction forms an amide bond and ethanoic acid as a byproduct. When the reaction is complete, the paracetamol is then isolated, purified, and then going through recrystallization. So as you can see, this is the paracetamol chemical compound. So this formation are divided in 3 parts, which is first preparation, and then second isolation, and the last one is recrystallization. So before we proceed to the experiment to make paracetamol, we need to take precaution step, as we don't want any accident happen. And we should note that these chemical compounds that are used in this experiment has its own hazard. So we should take precaution step to prevent any accidents and injuries. The byproduct, which is paracetamol here, should not be consumed under any circumstance, as we do not know if the compounds are reacted or filtered completely in this experiment. So now we will proceed to the procedure, which we will going into the first part, which is preparation. So in this part, basically it means that we need to add 4-aminophenol, water, and acetic anhydride or ethanoic anhydride in the flask, and we need to heat it and stir it continuously until we get the colorless solution, and we need to cool it off. So what actually happened in here, what actually reacts in there, is the lone pair of electrons on the amine of 4-aminophenol attacks the CO double bond of acetic anhydride, causing it to break. So nitrogen has a positive charge but regains electrons by losing a proton. So the negative charge on the oxygen comes back in to reform the CO double bond. This causes the CO single bond to break. So as the result, we will get an amide bond formation, which is the paracetamol itself, and the carboxylic acid, which is ethanoic acid or acetic acid, as the byproduct. And that is for the first process in this part, which is preparation. So now we will be proceeding to the second part of this procedure, which is isolation. In this experiment, we use vacuum filtration, as it is the easiest way and the faster way to filtering solids and to separate the solution and the solids, as it will providing the suction from the vacuum pump. So in this procedure here, we actually just separate the solids and the liquids, which is the solid is the paracetamol itself, and the liquid is acetic acid or ethanoic acid. We don't need ethanoic acid in this experiment, so we want to discard the acid out. And as you can see here, this is the arrangement of the apparatus that we need to do to filter the solids and the liquids, and which we will get in result solids as the paracetamol, but it is not recrystallized yet, and we will continue to the third part. So now we will be continuing to the last part of this procedure, which is recrystallization. So recrystallization is a technique that will further purify the product. So paracetamol is not soluble in cold water, but it is soluble when the solvent is hot. Generally, any impurities will also dissolve in hot water. When everything has dissolved, the solution is then should be cooled. Paracetamol will crystallize, but the impurities will remain dissolved. So basically, in this procedure, in this long procedure here, we actually add the crude paracetamol with water, and then we add the hot water until the paracetamol dissolve in it, and then we will cool it in a low temperature oven. So now, as you can see, here are the results of the paracetamol that have been recrystallized, and that is how the manufacturer do the paracetamol that we will use as our painkiller to remove our headache or to reduce the fever. And then it is more commonly used now as we want to treat the side effect of COVID-19 vaccine. So basically, we need this product to ease our fever or headache in the future, and it will used widely in this world right now. So that is all from me. Thank you.